Thank you, Ramona. And if you like that, she's going to be back in a bit to sing Amazing Grace. But before we do that, we're going to hear from Father Rossi again. He's the pastor at St. Leo the Great Catholic Church. Assistant pastor. All right, well, you're young. You'll work your way out. Come join us, Father Rossi. He'd get a kick out of it.
My dear friends and fellow Americans, we gather today primarily not as members of faith, but as American citizens. Regardless of our faith, we come to stand up together to stand for and safeguard our rights as American citizens. Of great importance today is the right of religious liberty, or freedom of religion. This is not a Catholic freedom. This is not a Protestant freedom. It's a freedom for all Americans. Therefore, we stand together today united by our nationality. We stand as Americans. It's crucial for us to rediscover what it means to be an American. A nation with amnesia or a lost sense of its own history is a nation that is doomed to be governed by tyranny, by dictatorship, by fear. How familiar are we with the great documents of our country? The Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution. I myself know that I need to become more familiar with these founding documents in order to protect what they sought to establish. If we lose any of our freedoms, it will be because we have forgotten what freedoms we have been blessed to receive and failed to defend them. In our own day, we are becoming increasingly aware of the infringement of religious liberty by government policies, most notably the HHS mandate, which does not allow for religious groups to opt out of paying for or providing certain coverage which they believe to be grave evil. The exemption offered by the current administration is so narrow that it prohibits religious bodies from serving and ministering to anyone outside of their faith community. But we know that the gospel calls us to serve not a particular faith, but every member of humanity. We stand together today out of gratitude for the gift of religious liberty, certainly one of our most cherished freedoms. We stand also to remind Americans that religious liberty is guaranteed by the First Amendment. Religious liberty is not simply about our ability to worship as we choose on Sundays. Rather, it is about being able to fully live our faith in order to contribute to the common good of American society. The tendency today can be to reduce religious freedom to merely a guarantee of freedom of worship. This is not so. As Americans, we are not only guaranteed freedom to worship as we choose, but to practice our faith freely throughout our lives. Alexis de Tocqueville, the Frenchman observer of America in the early 1700s, observed, "Religion does not give Americans their taste of freedom. It singularly facilitates their use of it. Religion has the capacity to enhance our identity as Americans, not diminish it. The rights that we possess are gifts from God, and our founding fathers knew this to be true. George Washington stated in his farewell address that religion and morality are indispensable supports of our political prosperity, warning that reason and experience both forbid us to expect that national morality can be retained without religion." And more recently, in recent times, John F. Kennedy referred to our rights in his inaugural address by mentioning that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. In all things, we must be charitable and prayerful. These will be the guiding forces if we are to gain any successful ground. Together, may we continue to stand for the freedoms which were afforded us by our Creator. Together, may we lovingly pray for a peaceful restoration of religious liberty in our nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.